How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? You are now listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. Hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. And this is your host, King the Conqueror, the High Evolutionary, because I be reconstructing your DNA at an alarming rate. Um, so, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about jinns, demons, and evil spirits. Mind you, to my knowledge, to my experience, spirits are not of the same hierarchy as demons and jinns. I believe spirits might be on a lower realm, jinns on a higher realm, and demons obviously on top. No pun intended, no offense meant. But a jinn can be seen as a demon. It can be seen as the same thing. But when we're talking about, like, let's say, like Asmodeus or Lucifer and all of these ascendant masters, lords of darkness, of course, speaking on a influential level, I feel like jinns might be a little bit under those particular character for obvious reasons. So, there's a lot of videos, a lot of people think that these spiritual attacks and possessions that you see are the cause of demonic spirits. That is not the case. What you are seeing is angel bodies, because you have to understand that the main purpose of a said angel is to bring you closer to God, right? And what better way there is to bring you closer to God than catastrophe? If you're afraid for your life, or catastrophe happens in your life, that is the number one surefire way that you will be like, well, oh shit, I gotta pray to God. A lot more than you can catch. Humans have a tendency to think that you can catch more bees with honey, right? And you would think God thinks the same way, but let's look at the fact here. I haven't seen God offering any sort of honey to anyone at any point. Most of the time, people come into religion and Christianity or Catholicism or whatever kind of God thing, biblical God thing that people are into these days. It's mostly out of a form of important event, because I can't say it's always a catastrophe, because a catastrophe is pretty bad, but mostly it's something that you kind of gain consciousness, right? You gain consciousness. You're in an event. You're in a situation or event, and that event and situation kind of makes you gain some form of consciousness, right? So you wake up to the belief that there might be something higher, and as a uninitiated person, you're only taught when something like that happens is, well, God exists, therefore I must follow God, right? A simple 2 plus 2 is 4 equation. You're not stupid or retarded for thinking something like that. That's actually a very natural and obvious choice to make. To be quite honest, it's like duh, but contrary to popular beliefs, so you have to understand these angels, these able bodies or disemboweled entities, disembodied entities, not disemboweled, disembodied entities, float around, you know, causing mayhem and destruction, in order for you to get closer to God, right? So, and that's their job, and that's what they're here for. You have people hear the word, um, you know, people hear the words. How do you say? Fuck it, I forgot what I was gonna say, but you get the idea. You get the idea. I mean, like you bring some form of important situation to a person's life. The person's life is gonna think. He's gonna have consciousness over the situation. He's gonna analyze the situation, and he's gonna be like, "Well, this was an act of. This was because of. This was supernatural. This was paranormal. This was this. This was that." So henceforth, God exists, right? But like I said, these able bodies, these disembodied entities, spirits, jinns or demons, as people would proclaim them to be, are actual demons, or actually angels, and and angels are demons, demons are angels, and vice versa, right? Or they're all demons, and there is no such thing as angels or God, right? They're all demons. Like, all gods are demons. There's no, every god in every pantheon on earth is a demon. End of story. So the belief of angels is a hereditary issue that's been passed along through centuries and centuries and centuries, for whatever reason, because somebody thought it would be a good idea to put order into chaos, right? If there was any chaos to start with. And that's another thing that I do not believe. I feel like this whole idea that humans can't run themselves is an absurd and ridiculous notion. I don't think chaos ever existed. I don't think so. I think that's a lie. I think that's a conspiracy. And this conspiracy stems from a bunch of people that want to rule the world. Henceforth, a couple of months ago, I was making videos about Canada being overrun. Well, I wasn't just talking about Canada, because it's not just in Canada that this happens everywhere. It's just like right now we're seeing the plan being put into motion. And mind you, I have said this many times, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw these videos of me stating that the government is actually introducing criminals into society on purpose to scare you into believing that you need a government. And then fast forward a couple of months, and I've been saying that since I was locked up, since I went to the hospital not too long ago. I was saying that I made videos in the hospital stating that. Start talking about that, right? You flash forward a couple of months later, almost a year later, and there's a mass surge of immigrants flooding New York, causing all kinds of crime and all kinds of shit. Under the Joe Biden administration, of course. This never happened under the Trump administration. So you have to understand that there's a specific group of people that is managing us. And they're managing us under the name of a higher purpose, i.e., God. So for all you chosen ones out there, and I was watching a video, I was watching a video. I'm not gonna say who, but it was a good video anyway. But I feel like I don't mind talking about this with the person that made the video. This is not a diss or any form of hatred or resentment or anything like that matter. This is just my opinion, theory, and belief, that there are such a thing as people that are chosen. There are such a thing as people that are chosen. I often say that I don't, because I don't like the term chosen ones, because to me, chosen one has a Christian background to it. I feel like when people say they're chosen, is because they feel like they're 144 and yada yada yada, and then the demons and I'm not into it. I'm severely not into it. I do see the same things that these people see, though, but I don't believe that it's Satan. I don't believe it's Lucifer. I don't believe it's Satan. I don't believe it's Lucifer. I don't believe it's I don't believe it's Lilith. I don't believe well, it might be Lilith. But I don't believe it's Lilith. I don't believe it's Lilith. I don't believe none of that shit. Because I went through it, and you might not want to believe it. Like, I know who I am. I kind of shown you a little bit who I was too, I think. Not to how do you say, ruffle your ego here. Not to throw shades at your ego, but I feel like I kind of showed that. So the devil does not lie, right? If I'm the devil, I'm not lying, and I can tell you from a belief standpoint, in a Christian belief standpoint, I was afflicted by these said demons on a consistent basis. I would hear voices. So I would hear like there would be like voices. There would be like three voices talking to me at all times, throwing tomatoes at me all the time, and stuff like that. It was fucking crazy. It was insane. Like, it was insane. It was complete infestation. Complete and utter infestation. There was like just demonic infestation, bro. It's insane. And it only stopped when I stopped believing in God. And I was like that for years. I was battling these demons. I'm still battling these demons, but on a much more higher plane. And for a couple of years, for about 10 years, I was battling more than that probably, but a good 10 years I was consistently battling these demons, these Illuminati things, and fucking voice of God technology. There's a voice of God thing, because I've heard a lot of theories, because I was trying to find out what the fuck was going on with me, dude. Like, because one day I wake up and I just, everything I do, even the sounds would be like negative. Not even saying anything, just the sounds would be negative. Like, everything would have a negative thing attached to it. Like, so if I would make sound, I would hear a vibration of negativity. And I'm an empath, so like, the sound is actually speaking to me. So like, with like I can, some people will call it auditive hallucinations. So like, even like, I would make a sound, like I would tap on my on the dresser, and it would speak to me. I would hear like I wouldn't hear it, but I could decipher what the sound is saying. Because it's not like I'm making a noise and every time I make a noise I hear a word. No, the noise sounds like a word. So anyways, so all that shit was happening to me and for a couple of years. And I was praying, I was doing psalms and stuff. How black people are. You tell them something. My mother would tell me, "Oh, you do this psalm and everything will be all right." Blah blah blah. So even the pastors, whatever. I looked. I was trying to figure it out. And it only stopped. You can believe me or not. That's your issue. That's your problem. But it only stopped when I stopped praying. Like I wasn't like, it's not like I was like, oh, fuck God and blah blah blah, and I'm with Lucifer now, and no. It's just I just stopped. Like one day, which I have stated this story many times before, but one day I was in my house and there was this particular infestation, and it was recurrent. It's like recurrent infestation, and then you have to go into prayer mode and to make the infestation stop, right? And it was crap. It was bullshit. It was crap, and it was crap because it would stop momentarily and it would start over again, and I never got control over my life in that period. So God didn't do shit for me, not a fucking thing. Not one fucking thing. And this is, yes, I am very angry. I am very angry because I see a lot of people having this belief in God and wanting to believe in God and going up against other people that do not believe in God and judging and criticizing me from where I'm standing. I do have an anger towards God because he never fucking did anything for me at all through my entire life. So I'm very confused. Like, to put it mildly, I'm very confused and weirded out by the notion of this belief in God, right? So, anyways, I was going through this whole demonic, infestation process, which was very recurrent. So 1 week, I would have demonic infestation, and I would do a prayer at some point because it's too much, and then it would die down, and then it would start back up again a couple of hours later, and then for a couple of days, demonic infestation, and then I would do another prayer, and then blah blah blah. But I would pray all the time though, but I would do psalms, or even I would even try to do exorcisms. Like I have, I think I still have it. I have exorcism things, so in Latin, so, in English, so, and I am aware of Kabbalah and, because Kabbalah is the magic of angels, by the way. It's not, Kabbalah is not demonic. It's actually angel magic. It's not really like Enochian. Enochian is completely different. But Kabbalah is relatively like angel magic. Like the whole basis of there's certain angels, like you gotta call certain angel, like every hour of the day is governed by an angel, so you can either devote yourself to each hour of the day to a different angel, or you can connect with your personal guiding angel and then do a prayer at that time, and then give your reverence to a planet. Like me would be Mars, and that fucking thing called Michael, whatever the fuck. I think no, me it's Uriel, because I'm an Aries. So me, I would have to do things on Uriel's timeline and Mars and blah 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 blah. So that's Kabbalah, right? So I would practice that too and do exorcisms and stuff like that, right? And when I decided, and one day, well, like if you get battered and beaten for like a severe, like for fucking 10 years, you're gonna get tired of it. And you're gonna be like, fuck it. You're gonna face a point you might not be, and if you're not at that point, it's probably because you just started your spiritual practice, and you're lucky that I'm here to fucking tell you these things before you go through all the bullshit that I went through before realizing all this fucking shit is garbage. Back to what I was saying. Sorry about that. So I was standing there in my home, and as usual, right on time, demonic attack. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pray. Like, because the demons were telling me we're coming over to your house and we're going to kill you and blah, 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 blah. Like a whole bunch of nonsense. Like a whole bunch of nonsense. That's not even probably what it was saying, but it was saying shit like that. Like I'm paraphrasing, right? But that was basically the gist of it, right? So it was trying to intimidate me and stuff like that. But that I wasn't scared of that because I thought of myself as a warrior for the Christian faith. I remember once God told me that I was a avant-garde. Like I was on the front line. Like I was you have to be strong to be on the first line. You have to be strong to be on the first line of defense and the last line of defense. Those are the strongest guys. The guys that are in the front and the guys that are in the back, those are the strongest. The people in the middle, they're the people in the middle. They might be strong, they might be weak, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you put your strongest in front so they can cause as much damage, and you keep the niggas in the back so they don't fucking kill your ass. you know what I mean? So anyway, I was called a lot of great things. I was called a front guard. I was called front guard, avant-garde, sentinel, ranger, all kinds of garbage. Okay. So I know about all that, all those hierarchies, stands, blah, blah, blah. I went through it. Even born again Christian. There's a lot of fake born again Christians out there. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's a lot of bullshit fucking born again Christian. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, especially the ones that are on TV. They have no idea what the fuck that means. They're not born again, because born again Christian is literally dying and coming back to life. I felt that. Like I've even felt the born again Christian thing. Like I was born again. Like I didn't go to church and somebody told me I was a born again Christian. No, I felt it. I lived through it. Like that's real. And then, just like the Illuminati does all the time, they take shit from people that go through spiritual events and then they act like they invented the fucking shit. So that's just, that's a thing, by the way, So I know all that shit. I went through all those processes, and that's all before the day that I decided to fucking quit. So I'm sitting there. The demons are attacking. They're telling me they're gonna kill my ass. I'm gonna die. And something just snapped. Like something broke in me, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. And the last thing I'm gonna do is pray. Like like I didn't say the last thing I was gonna do is pray. It's just at that time that's how I felt. Like I was not going to pray. I don't give a fuck. Like do whatever the fuck you have to do, but I'm not doing this. I'm not repeating this cycle. I'm not gonna repeat this cycle over and over and over and over again for the rest of my fucking life. I don't have that kind of fucking patience. I ain't built like that. And it stopped. It was silence, just like the silence that you hear right now. I didn't hear any voices. I didn't hear any threats. God didn't come out of the fucking butthole of the universe to come be all fucking sanctimonious and shit. I didn't see fucking Jesus. I didn't see no fucking angels. I didn't see shit. As a matter of fact, angels have more personality. Demons have more personality than it looks like. Because my first pop, I always felt like there's certain demons I always felt like I had a connection to, even if I was a Christian. Like Lilith and Asmodeus. Asmodeus, Asmodeus, Asgard. So I always felt like I had a connection with Asmodeus, and so I started my convergence with Asmodeus. And I always had a connection with Lucifer, even though it was a negative connection, because I'm a little bit of a religious zealot, you know. So if I'm with you, I'm with you. So if I'm with you, your enemies are my enemies. You know what I mean? So I would speak to Lucifer a lot. I would threaten Lucifer quite a lot. Tremendous amount, even. But it's mostly in my defense. It's mostly because I thought he was the one doing the shit. And I didn't always threaten Lucifer. Like sometimes I was actually kind of trying to mend the relationship between the two sometimes. Because it's not like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I was a perfect Christian and I never fucking doubted it. No, I would doubt a lot. Because there's some things, I mean, you can't read the Bible and believe in God and be like, and not ask God, what the fuck is this? you know, like, what the fuck does this mean, God? So I always had a connection. I kind of developed a connection with Lucifer, and basically I was seduced a little bit. There was a little bit of temptation in my faith, right? So Lilith was one of my temptations. Asmodeus was one of my temptations, and Lucifer was one of my temptations. But I believe in the goodness of the world, though. You know, I don't think, I'm not here to hurt people. Like, I don't think about hurting people. It's not like I've never hurt a person in my life, but I don't go out of my way to hurt people. You know, like, I don't, like, that's not my intention. Like, if I have a, like, let's say I had like a Church of Satan. Let's say I would build a Church of Satan. It wouldn't, like, we wouldn't, just like any other Satanist and Luciferian, we would be having too much fun to care about other people. Because hurting somebody means you care about that person's existence. I don't care about people's existence to a point where I feel like hurting them. Because if you want to hurt someone, is because you have some form of emotional binding towards that person. Either you're jealous, either you're angry at the person, or you're jealous of the person, or you're envious of the person, or something, or you're coveting what the person has. Like, you care about the person, like you care about that person. That person is in your world and in your existence, so you care about them. I don't care about people. Like like I don't care enough to, like, so I can't feel jealousy and envy and stuff. I can't feel that because I don't care that you exist. To me, it's fine that you exist. I don't. It's not that I don't see people. I see certain people, like people that want to be seen. I see them. People that don't want to be seen, kudos to them. You know. So my type of Satanism would be very self-centered. It would be very self-centered, very egocentric, and the self-centered type of Satanism. Like, you wouldn't see my followers bothering people. You'd be lucky if you even see one at all anywhere. you know like that's how self-centered and egocentric I am. So the only thing that matters is me. Like, I don't, if things have nothing to do with me, then I am not happy. Like, if it's like that's where a little bit of my narcissism comes from. Like, if you're what you're talking about has nothing to do with me, then I'm not interested. Like, I'm just like, it has to have something to do with me. It's either something I can do, something I can learn, or something that gives me an advantage. If it's not doing any of those three things, I'm not interested. Like, if I don't have an advantage, if I don't learn something, or I don't become more powerful from this interaction, then I don't care. And I'm not going to care about that person for a long time. No, I'm kidding. I'm being a jerk. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Um, but back to what I was saying. No pun intended. No offense, man. Back to what I was saying. Um, so I stopped praying. I stopped, and everything stopped after. And I'm not saying, because the thing is, the reason why I made that interlude is because I don't want people to think like, oh, because don't come around here thinking we're goody two shoes, because I will end you. Like, I will fucking end you, bro. Like, so and most of the time where they see people not being timid, people have this, because it is kind of being timid. And that's the thing about, like, apocalyptic aftermath. It's not for the timid. But it's not that you're timid, it's because you're so busy discovering things and having the time of your life that, like, you're fine with other people. Like, this idea, you kind of forget this idea of comparing yourself to other people. Like, you kind of forget this idea of, well, I'm not shit because I don't have this, and blah 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 blah, which you probably can have using apocalyptic aftermath. But my method is more outspoken and more down to earth, dare I say, in some sense, or not really. It's not really down to earth, but it's more like you manifest by existing. There we go. That's a perfect way to say that. So, in my magical system, you manifest just by simply being. Right? Like you don't like and when you're not being, in my magic system, I feel like in my theology, I feel like that's a disservice that you are causing to yourself. I feel like, to me, if I see somebody being timid, then this person is, in my ideology, in my theology, this person is, in my philosophy, this person is like reducing their own power. Right? They're kind of like they're reducing their own power. They're like not expanding. And the person might be like, "Oh no, I'm collecting my strength, blah blah blah." No, you're killing yourself. Timidity is the long lost, not related by blood, half cousin, sister, brother of death. To me, that's what timidity is. And not being timid and existing is not death. You can be introverted without being shy, right? Because an introvert, if you're introverted, is because you collect more energy by when you're by yourself, but when you're in a group settings, you are capable of releasing that energy, right? And that's the difference between a person that's timid and a person that's an introvert. An introvert will hang out in groups. He will go to a party. He will go to the club. He will hang around with those crazy people over there, but for a less long period. And when he does show up, it's a great fucking time because his energy is on par with everybody else's, or maybe even higher than everybody else's. And then he releases all of that energy to make everybody have a good time, have a great time, and it's all smiles and whatever. But he will eventually leave after spending and spewing out all of that energy to go get some more. But that's the reason why people don't like introverts or perfectionists, because they have to go and recharge that energy that they spent. So in the notion of demons, jinns, and spirits, I feel there's a lot of disinformation. I feel like I mean, there is this, I feel like there's disinformation, and I feel like there's actual people that actually believe that they are seeing demons and jinns and stuff. And it's only from an ignorant standpoint. You see, me, like, I've dealt with spirit my whole life. So, and most Christians, there's a lot of people don't know that, but there's a lot of Christians, especially in the Haitian community. There's a lot of Christians that do that. There's a lot of voodoo people that still go to church. and they deal with spirits. But the thing is, in voodoo, most of the spirits are saints. They're under the cover of saints, right? So there's a clear link between Christianity and voodoo, right? So, but there are still entities in voodoo that can be pretty fucking heinous if they want to. Demonic, even. But not all voodoo practitioners deal with these specific spirits. It's kind of like in voodoo, there's a school of saints and there's a school of demons. And you can choose to practice voodoo with only the saints, or you can choose to practice voodoo with only the demons. You can do that. Or you can integrate all of them. It depends. It depends on the practitioner. It really depends on the practitioner. And they have, and the reason why voodoo might be something of the past is because they cannot or will not remove your generational curse. Because I feel like voodoo spirits might owe something to this demiurge that people call the biblical God. I feel that they might owe something to them. So they're not going to, they're going to tell you, you're going to be aware. They're going to tell you, oh, your family's cursed, but they're not going to remove it. They can't remove it. And there's a reason why that is. But Lucifer can. Lucifer can remove that generational curse, because you have to understand what the generational curse is. And when you do go see the devil, that's your first step into removing that generational curse. So a lot of us, and this is what I feel is, this is one of the reasons why I feel chosen ones do exist at the end of the day. Because not everybody in your family is going to be able to go down that path. Not everybody in your family will be able to walk down the shadows of death. The valley of the shadow of death, right? You might be the only one. Or maybe you can get your brother into it or your sister into it, but not the whole fucking clique. You know, like there's a high probability you're not going to be able to get every fucking body on board. It is what it is. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either whether they're on board. Now, the what matters is that the curse is broken. So then everybody can go do whatever the fuck they know how to do, instead of being blocked and having interference all the fucking time when they try to fucking do something. And the devil can bring you that solace. And he's the only place where you will find that solace, because the generational curse is God. It's the, like I said, and you kind of heard me say it earlier in the video when I said that, you kind of heard me say it when I said that at some point when that shit happened, I was kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. I am not going to repeat this over and over. And I feel like that was significant. Obviously, it was significant, but it might have been significant for more than one reason. That was probably the point where I actually understood what the fuck I was supposed to do this whole fucking time. Stop fucking praying to God. As weird as that sounds. The more you believe in it, the more it's going to hinder you. It's an energy. It's an energy of confusion. It's an energy of hatred. It's an energy of it's just an energy of hatred. It's an energy of hatred, complacency, sloth. It's an energy of sloth, lust. What's the other one again? Pride. It's an energy of what is it? Gluttonous. You know, all those energies are there somewhere in Christianity. It's just hard to decipher, and it's only the devil that can show you these things. It's only the devil that can expand your mind so you become smart enough to understand all of these things that are going on. Yeah, believing in the devil doesn't make you crawl on the walls. It makes you smarter. I mean, I wish it would make me crawl on the wall. But, you know, like, it makes you smarter. It doesn't make you do weird shit. All gods are demons. Odin's a demon. Kali's a demon, Shiva's a demon, Vishnu's a demon, Zeus is a demon, Hermes is a demon. They're all demons. All of them. Because the word demons mean God. That's what the word demon means. A demon means God. So I feel like there's a misconception in these demonic activities that people are aware of. They would never think that an angel would speak to them that way. They would never think an angel would do something like that, because you were sold a lie. It's not God. God didn't present anything to you. TV did. The government presented this to you. God never came to you and showed you anything. He didn't show you his kingdom. He didn't show you his people. He didn't show you what he's really about. God never showed us anything. The government assumed a role of being the ones responsible to give you God because you are ignorant and illiterate and too callous to understand. And since they are royalty, aristocrats, highly educated, better than you in all shape and form and matter, they hold the responsibility of giving you the information needed to believe what you're supposed to believe as a nation. This is social engineering. This is DNA combination. If I said that right. Recombination. This is DNA recombination. So they invested in this curse that they laid upon the land like a plague. They laid this curse upon the land, and for centuries and centuries, they were able, the royal aristocracy was able to thrive and survive. And what I mean by royal aristocracy, I mean the government, not actual royalty and aristocracy. And they were able to thrive and take your money and put illusions in your fucking face and make you believe a whole bunch of shit and make you have bullshit pop culture reference philosophy in your fucking head and make people create things like rape culture, fucking, infestation of gays trying to rule the world, no pun intended, no offense meant, fucking nonsense. All these things stem from God, not the devil. He's the one doing all of this. It's on purpose. This is his plan. One thing I've noticed, though, that I've noticed recently is I'm starting to notice that the devil is capable of doing the same thing God can do. And I'm starting to notice that. And it's very peculiar. Because I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how he calls these things, because I know the devil is very allergic to anything that's Christian. But I'm also very aware that what he's doing are things that God said he can do. So it's kind of like magic tricks but it's like his version of the magic trick. It's pretty fucking awesome, to be quite honest. And I'm starting to notice that I can do that too. Like I'm starting to be able to, like, there's things, and it's not just me. I mean, like, it's not just me. There's other magic practitioners. There's other forms of magic that kind of emulate godlike powers. Well, actually, not godlike powers, but emulate biblical Yahweh powers. Just very interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, I'm not asking anybody to convert here. I'm just asking people to keep an open mind before judging jinns and demons. Before saying that's a jinn, that's a demon, blah, 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 blah. Keep an open mind. Now, in the case of evil spirits might just be evil spirits. That's the thing. Like, spirits are very annoying entities. They're like mosquitoes, and if you got an evil spirit on you, that's an annoying prick. But that is a spirit, and that's not a demon. And you don't want to call it a demon, because then you would give it too much strength. And evil spirits thrive on fear. So the less fear you have, the less powerful they are. So yeah, if you see an evil spirit, it's an evil spirit. So you might have these infestations. Might be two things. It might be evil spirits, somebody sending you evil spirits, or you have a generational curse that you are meant to break. And in most cases, you have a generational curse that you're supposed to break. And all of these things are the reason why, because I kind of went off track here, and all of these things is kind of the reason why I don't like to use the term chosen one. Even though Lucifer is kind of pushing me to use, he told me to use that term anyways, even if it has a Christian background behind it, because the reason why, I understand why, but I don't like it. It's I don't like it. It feels intrusive. It's like I'm letting a type of people in that's not supposed to be in. And because at the end of the day, there's some charlatans. There's people that proclaim to be chosen when they're not chosen. It's just because they're fucking weird. They're probably just weird in real life, so that's why people just notice that they're weird. And like, not everybody considered, like, a lot of, because it's like I said, the Illuminati tend to use things that people discover against them. And I feel like Chosen One is beginning to be one of those things. It's like the other day I'm looking at a gay guy talking about there's a lot of gay people stealing money, making video about like narcissistic abuse, and that whole narcissistic abuse comes from targeted individual MK Ultra shit. When this narcissistic abuse started out on a religious connotation, as of demonic possession, like that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington and stuff, right? Where there's a demon, and the demon is like jumping into people's bodies and blah blah blah. But mind you, God said that he will use anyone he chooses to do his work. It doesn't matter if it's a good guy or a bad guy. That's what God said. And what's going on right now? You got your family members are acting like narcissists. Your best friend is acting like a narcissist. Your lover is acting like a narcissist. Everybody around you is acting like a narcissist. And you're going to tell me that's not a higher power doing that? Oh, yeah, but it's Satan. Yeah, but Satan never said he was going to do that. God did. There's not one place in the Bible where Satan says to God, I'm going to use your stuff against you. Satan never laid that curse upon the land, but God did. So it has a religious background to it, as of demons jumping inside of bodies and then, gaslighting you and triggering you and targeting you and stuff like that. And, targeted individual community, if that even still exists anymore, might be aware that people that are targeted individuals, they're aware of that, this whole narcissism thing that starts from them. They were the original suspects. They were the original target, the original victim of that sort of behavior that you see now in society. And now it's been taken over by pop culture because they're ridiculing the actual process of MK Ultra targeting and Illuminati occult spiritual attacks towards the masses, whoever the masses are. So there are people that are chosen, but those people that are chosen don't know why they're chosen, and they don't know by who that they were chosen. They don't know why they're chosen. They don't know what they're chosen to do. They don't know who chose them. These people are speculating that the fact that all these things are happening to them is because God loves them and God always been there in their life, and the guy. Bullshit. No, the reason why this is happening is because God doesn't want little demons like us walking around all willy-nilly doing all types of fucking fantastical shit. Imagine if this shit wasn't happening and you just sprouted out of the ground like a goddamn fucking sunflower. You ever seen the real fucking sunflower? How fucking big that shit is, bro? Like, it towers over everything in the goddamn fucking field, man. Sunflowers are huge. It's ridiculous. It's like a mutant. It's fucking unnatural. So you would just like sprout out the ground like a fucking sunflower, man. And you know, and you just be like doing all kinds of weird shit, turning water into wine all willy-nilly. Like, what the fuck? Right? Like, how can God how can God do anything when you got all these sons of bitches walking around on the fucking earth? How can he say anything? Do you know how hard his job would be if you was walking around town just doing whatever the fuck you know how to do? Do you even are you even aware? Don't you have any shame? Huh? Don't you have any understanding for how hard his job would be if he was just capable of doing all these things? Don't you understand? You're so self-centered. You only think about yourself, don't you? Huh? So think about it. Why do you think you're being suppressed? Who the fuck do you think is suppressing you? Why the fuck would the devil suppress a person with a bunch of fucking powers? That's his whole fucking point. That was his first original goddamn. That is his original sin. He gave you power. The last person that doesn't want you to be is the devil. Because he's the one that gave you power in the first fucking. That was his original sin. That was the first sin. That's the first sin. The first sin is giving you power. That's the first sin. The first. And now you're born. You got consciousness. You're smarter than the average bear. You feel like you don't fit in. You feel like you don't fit in and whatnot. But you see everybody else believe in God, and the only thing you know, because you're born in the world that talks about God, so the only thing you know is God. So you can only so in your head it's like 2 + 2 is 4. If I'm powerful, if I got spiritual strength, then that means God exists. Therefore, I must follow God. That's mechanical. That's a mechanical line of thinking. That's an automated product line kind of thinking. You're on a conveyor belt, and you're being shit out. You're going through a fucking grinder, and you're being shit out the other side. So you gotta stop. You ever seen that sign? You have to stop. It's important. If you really are a chosen one, a targeted individual, some shit like that, you need to stop. You don't need to stop working. You don't need to stop going to school and stop working. You need to stop that belief that you're holding in, because that's what's holding you back. That's the thing that's holding you back. And once you do, well, I'm not going to tell you what happened once you do. You're going to figure it out by yourself. I don't need to fucking say everything. I said enough already. It was fucking channeling there, actually. It was unexpected. I don't even remember. I barely remember what the fuck I said. Anyways, fuck it. Give me a second. So yeah, you need to stop, man. It's a cigarette, by the way. You need to stop, man. You need to like. You need to stop. You need to. You need to. And this is very important. It's like it's very important. If you're a targeted individual, bro, like if you're a chosen one, a targeted individual, whatever the fuck that means, um, that needs to stop. And then you can have control over your life. And you need to take control over your life. And it's not easy. It's not easy, and you shouldn't do it alone either. I shouldn't be doing this by myself. Like this is ridiculous. It's absurd. It's complete insanity. I should not be doing this by myself, and you shouldn't be doing this by yourself either. And yeah, you do have a rebuilding process once you realize all these things, and there is a rebuilding process. Like you just have to rebuild yourself. There is a rebuilding process, regardless. And it is hard because not everybody realizes what you realize. Like I was watching this video, and this video it was saying basically the same thing I was saying, but I feel like there's a realization that must be made that not everybody is a mystic. you know, like at the end of the day, like, because right now what's going on is chosen ones think they're normal, and normal people think they're chosen, and that's okay. In some sense, in some level, that's okay because you do want people to feel included in whatever you're doing or whoever you are, right? But now it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand because it's being used as a weapon against you. And you're starting to disappear. I mean, you'll never really disappear, but you might have to reincarnate because of what they're doing. And that's not fair. That's not just. It's not your fault that the world wants to be evil. Why should you pay for it? What the fuck? How's that legit? Like, oh well, you didn't save the world last time, so you're gonna have to go back and save it this time, bitch. I'm kidding, it's a joke. Like, but that's basically, that's the vibe. That's the fucking vibe. That's what it sounds like. If you do like end up meeting Seth in the duat, and he's like, yeah, you're a good person, but you know what? Nobody knows you exist, and because nobody knows you exist, well, Earth is doomed, and Earth never really dies. So yeah, you're gonna have to go back. Sorry. My bad, bitch. Okay, I'm stop. Anyways, like, so So yeah, that's basically that's the vibe. That's subconsciously, subconsciously, that's what's going on in the supernatural realm, in the supernatural level. You know what I mean? Like even in your subconscious level, because your subconscious is not gonna accept not being alive. I mean, you have the right to live. Your subconscious is aware that you have the right to live. It's a normal thought to have, to walk down the street and be okay. There's nothing that you're not crazy for wanting to walk down the street and just walk down the street. That's not a crime. You shouldn't get arrested or go to jail because you're walking down the street. Obviously. I mean, I think we can all agree with that, right? I think, I think we can, everybody agrees to that. Like, you can't, that's just, so because of that powerful idea, because of your powerful subconscious, if you do die, you will reincarnate because you're not dead. You didn't kill yourself. You didn't tell yourself, I want to die. You did not agree with dying. You did not give your consent to not exist. So I'm gonna end the video right here. I know you want to hear some more, but I'm gonna end the video right here, and I will say that this is a serious issue, regardless of the jokes. It's a serious issue. It's an issue, and it's not everybody that will be, like I said, like in that other video that I was watching. I fear that there is an idealistic point of view of everybody being included, but not everybody is included. Everybody can, if they want to, include themselves. But at the end of the day, a master is a master, a student is a student. And the student will only become a master after the master decides that the student is ready to become a master. And that's always how it is, and that's always how it's going to be. Unless you're born a master. And if you're born a master, you're a master because you're supposed to show people how to master whatever you're a master of. Obviously. And that's just the law. That's a universal law. That's just how it is. That's the yin and the yang. That's duality. You can't have one without the other. The master is the student is the master. It only takes a master to become a student. And it takes a student to become a master. So all these fucking people out there that are walking around with no masters, or all these masters out there that are walking around without any student, are causing a distortion in society, in civilization. This is a distortion where we are facing a distorted reality. It's a self delusion. It's a delusion to not be at the mercy of your own destiny. It is. Because you totally want to be, if you want to be, then you must absolutely be. Master student behavior is part of duality too. And I fear that not enough people realize that notion, or maybe a lot of people are afraid of that notion because they're afraid of rejection and failure. But a real master will always wait for his students. And a real student will always look for his master. And what I mean by that is not necessarily like having a temple and, you know, having a bunch of people and blah 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 blah. No, what I mean by that is like even on a social exchange level, you know, if I'm a third year graduate with a doctor's degree in fucking space science, you know, I'm not gonna act like I'm fucking stupid. You know, like if that's who I am and somebody wants to learn about that, I'm not gonna be like, oh no, man, go fucking learn about that shit by yourself, you dick. Like what? Like you know, like that would be crazy. Imagine if that's how the world was. That'd be insane. You wouldn't even have schools. You wouldn't even have schools. Zero teachers, zero students, just nonsense. One person is smart over here, another person is smart over there. You know, like it would be complete chaos. So even on a social exchange level, it's absolutely normal to teach. And you're not teaching, you're just being yourself. But by being yourself, somebody can learn from it. A student can learn from it, even if he's not necessarily there to learn, per se. Or is he? Okay. So, anyways, like I said, this is the end of the video. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.